Well, good evening, everyone. Thanks very much for joining us for another Innovation Nation. And tonight I'm joined by Brent Gregory, who's the
Hi, Judith.
director of the Merino Softwear Company. Hi, how are you, Brent?
I'm good, thanks.
Looking forward to talking to you. Now, this company is very innovative and it's based in Christchurch and it's creating high-value products from wool. And Brent and his team have identified new markets within aerospace, health, and high-tech knitting for the wool industry, which Brent will talk to us about shortly. So, Brent, you're a director of the Merino Softwear Company.
Yeah.
Can you please give us a little bit of background, how you found yourself in this position?
Okay. Well, look, I've worked for myself since the age of 22, right? Always been in business, in the textile business, mainly owning clothing companies. And I was getting a wee bit bored with it, and I was looking for a change, really. And there was another colleague of mine, Suzanne Wilson, who was in the same position. So we decided to let's go and have a look at doing something with wool. To be honest with you, probably looking at doing like base layers, something like an icebreaker or something. But as we started to look into it, we could see there was more to what wool could actually bring. And that was the start of a very long journey to where we are today. Be one of the most exciting journeys I've ever been on. And yeah, it's been an awesome journey. But yeah, backgrounds are just clothing, but understanding fiber.
Right. So you knew that there was this thing called wool. You knew about wool and knew about fiber. So look, this is an innovative company, and I said in the introduction some things about wool that people will be surprised about. Will be surprised about, I should say, and that's for industries such as aerospace and health. So let's talk about some of those sorts of uses of wool.
Okay. Look, it started to become pretty obvious that within the aerospace and aviation that there was wool could really fit. Look, I come from a flying background. I've always flown aircraft since the age of 16, gliders, light aircraft, and I had a hunch that wool could be very good for a composite. So with my network, everyone I learned to fly with either runs airlines or flies for airlines, we're able to find that we could be onto something. So we started to look at composites and found out that there was high interest. We ended up speaking to the bulk of the aircraft companies around the world. And that led to other things, aircraft seating and things like that, where new materials do need to be discovered and to be made as these markets go forward. And the other thing is that all these industries have to reduce chemicals and plastics. So wool is becoming a fiber of interest. But that's also led us into.
So it's not. Yeah.
No, carry on.
Yeah. So you keep going. Sorry, I was.
Yeah, but
I was just thinking but it's not only merino wool, is it? It's all these other wools that you
have. It's all the other wools.
Work with.
Look, we started off looking at fine wools, but now we're getting right across the board with wool wools. Sheep wool is the most clever fiber on planet Earth, and that's not a marketing line. That's a fact. There's a reason why that fiber can't be duplicated in a lab. It's the only fiber in the world that man can't make in a lab. It's the complexities, and that's where the value is. So with aerospace, high-tech industries, we basically aimed at the top 30 companies in the world and started to learn about what those companies were doing and how wool could be a solution. And then we approached them. And so we don't sell wool, we sell a solution, and which just happens to be wool. The interesting part is not one company that we've ever approached in the US and Europe, not one of them has ever been approached with wool as an idea or a solution. So you've got to educate them, then start going down the track and learning everything about their needs. And then we can filter that back to our science team and see what we can do.
So this is a huge opportunity for New Zealand, isn't it? I mean, Brent, we've got all these farmers, wool growers who essentially are telling me that it costs them more to shear their sheep than they get for the wool clip, unless it's a very particular fibre such as merino, which is entirely opposite. But
Yeah,
most of our particularly not the high country, it's the crossbred and it's the strong wools. And what
yeah,
you're saying to us is
yeah,
we've got about 30 million sheep out there. We could be doing a lot more as a country with innovation and
yeah. We
taking
can.
this and using it, celebrating it. I mean, I am a huge fan of wool. I'm sort of covered in it at the moment. I normally am. Um, but you're thinking about aerospace, you're thinking about health,
Yeah.
and isn't that the solution that we need to be offering? It's
Well,
a
it is.
very natural product.
Well,
So
it is. I mean, look, you've got to take it right back to the basics. Look, the first thing I got told when I left school, my first job, is understand the product that you're going to go out and sell. If you don't understand it, how can you sell it to a customer? How can you identify who your customer base is? So that's what we've done. We've taken the time to really dive deep and start asking questions, then go out and find our customers. Now, if we go and ask our customers, would they be interested, and they tell us their problems, then we've got a potential customer, then we know where we need to aim our resources. Then if we can do it, and when we do it, then we've got a customer that's ready to go. And the market intelligence that you get back is huge. We've been privy to see products that are going to be released in the future. And that to me is priceless. And this is where New Zealand can capitalize. We can actually share the IP. We can direct our growers to what's needed to grow this wool and have a market that's just going to grow and grow. And that's the interesting part. The high-tech industries that we're aiming at, we're at its infancy as far as fibre goes. So we're actually sitting in a very good position down here.
So, give us some examples of some of the technology behind these ideas and these products, and just how does it all sort of differ from what people are normally used to with wool, which is putting in fabric or sometimes insulation for houses. So something, can give us some examples.
Okay, it's to do with the breeding
But
of the sheep.
have to say, I am actually wearing felt shoes at the moment because they're so good. Wool felt shoe.
It's look, the easiest way to put it is this: a sheep is not much different to a yarn factory that makes a synthetic yarn. The only difference is a sheep's a living, breathing machine, but you can basically treat it the same as a factory would make different fibers for different markets, right? For chemicals, we can do that for breeding and genes and the diets of the sheep. So it's basically going back to the basics and getting that right and giving the growers the confidence that there is a future and that we can pull this off. I want to see we can get to 80 million sheep, and we can. Believe me, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we would, and I'd love
Yeah.
to see those farmers actually getting more for their product than it costs for them to get it off the sheep's back. So, what drove you to this inception of the Merino Softwear Company in the very first instance? And given that it's not all about merino,
Yeah.
how come the name?
Wanted a name that sounded a wee bit more techy because wool is seen a bit, it has got a perception of granny sitting at home with the old knitting needles out, right? So it's basically a play on words. It has really paid off because your initial contacts, some of your customers think that you are a high-tech company. So it ends up being a bit of a joke to start off with and going, wow. So it's a good opening line. And basically, it is a natural fiber optic. That's the way I look at it, right? It's as technical as that. And I've always said, in a way, wool was invented 100 years way too early. It's coming now where wool is the fiber that the world's going to need, especially in the next 30 years. There's no doubt about
So, I would love to know from you
it.
just
Yeah.
what are what are the problems that you are providing solutions for with businesses? What is it that you can say to people? Can you give us something like that?
Okay. Well, we all know that the properties, the big one is the fire retardancy, the flame resistance, right? The management of moisture. those two are huge in a lot of products, right? And I'm not going to give you the magic sauce, but it's the basics that we know about wool and how we can supersize those qualities, right? And well, I'll give you one that really spins my wheels. There's still over 200 aspects of wool that have never been researched. So I look at this like finding a safe with a combination. We can get the combination right, and once we get into it, how far can we go? That's the way I look at it, right?
So okay, so what do you think are some of the key markets for you?
The key
And for
markets
this
is
new way of thinking about wool, it's wonderful.
okay. The key markets, as I said, I mean, especially in the aerospace and space. Look, we just had a very interesting Zoom call last week with with a certain space company. The interest is extremely high there. The health within smart wearables, the sky is the limit there. The high tech sector, thinking of the highest tech and technology, it's definitely there. And it's not just getting the wool from the sheep's back. What it is learning how we can turn that fiber into the way that they need it to give that performance. But like I said, it's the basic aspects of wool that we know, but can we better and improve those aspects? And the answer is yes. And I've got another one-liner for you. The best wool hasn't been grown for the products that haven't been invented yet. So there you go. So that's where.
So what you mentioned to me before that there's no point turning up for a meeting offshore and saying, "Here's a bale of wool."
No.
How do you approach these new and innovative ways of using what for many people now is a real problem?
Okay, we approach them and say, look, we believe that you have a problem that we may have a solution. You give me 20 minutes of your time, and I promise you won't be sorry. That's basically it. We literally get 100% hit rate, right? And like I was saying to you before, to date, not one company has ever thought of wool or ever been approached. And that's where the opportunity is. But we're hitting new categories. We're hitting companies where you probably wouldn't think. But again, you've got to do your work and start working out who your potential customer is. And your customer of today and tomorrow isn't the customer that was necessarily 30 years ago. Because some of the issues we're solving weren't issues 5 years ago. So it's basically taking wool into the 21st century.
So do you get any assistance, or are you working at all with any of our Crown Research Institutes, universities, or our,
we've got
our industry?
With universities, yes. Yeah, we've been working with a couple of the universities here. We've got our own little science team that works really, really well for us. We've been approached by universities in the US and in Europe. There's definitely been interest there. But the whole idea is building a business here in New Zealand and really creating the best wool company in the world where we can share the IP. Now, if we can get these big companies interested, and if we can get them starting their hands in their pockets and start investing in R&D and helping us in infrastructure, then we're away laughing. We'll have these companies hooked in with IP, and we can only go from strength to strength.
So at what stage would you see your company at the moment, your business at the moment? Is it like startup, pre-startup?
No, it's
scaling up. Where are you at the moment?
It's at startup. It's what I call startup and scaling up. Look, I'll tell you a funny story, Judith, and this blew me away. I got a text from a guy in Europe. He said, look, hey, I was at the All Black game, watching the All Blacks, and there's a guy I was sitting next to was talking about you. So you should, about this guy in New Zealand, with wool. And I said, you're joking. So we ended up having a meeting with this guy, and he could be it could be a potential customer. But as someone said to me, if you're selling toothpaste in a tube, no one would be talking about it. They're talking about it because you're hitting the right mark. But I thought that was funny. You go to an All Black game, and the chance of someone sitting next to someone and talk about wool. But that shows you the level.
Amazing. Isn't that amazing? Yes, that's right. Because I think the toothpaste in the tube has been pretty much invented by now. So you obviously see this as having real global implications if it keeps on moving in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do you need? I mean, are you looking for investors? Are you looking to? What are you looking for? Are you looking for?
We are looking at investors. No, we are. We're looking at investors. We've got a lot of growers showing interest. So we are. We're looking for people that are interested, who would like to be involved with us, who want, who are really passionate about growing a wool industry, and delivering value back to the growers. And the only way up is into these brand new markets, the markets of tomorrow. That's it. And the thing is, it's not. Look, it's
people
not.
Often raise this issue with me. Actually, people often raise this issue with me.
Well, the thing is
better.
Well, the thing is, that's why we always go to the businesses. If we think that we are on to something with a solution, go to potential customer. They're still going to tell you if you're right, wrong, or otherwise. And if they are interested, then wow. And, half the time people go, no, that won't work, or they won't be interested. Well, you don't know unless you test it. And what we've found is that
that's right.
People are people. It doesn't matter if you're talking to someone running a multi-billion-dollar company. At the end of the day, you can build a relationship, then you're away laughing. And we've got, look, the best thing that we've got is our New Zealand accent, our cheekiness. Because I think they find it amusing that someone is knocking on the door from all the way down here. We've got it made. We really, really have.
Oh yeah, we're exotic in some places, aren't we, Brent?
Yeah, we are.
It's just amazing.
We have a natural cheekiness, and we can capitalize.
And some of us are more cheeky than others, aren't we, Brent? Absolutely. It surprises people massively. So look, you don't have products actually available at the moment to sell, have you? Because you're still
but we'll be having a few. We're about to make an announcement shortly with a building product. There'll be a few more past that, but as we scale, you'll certainly be hearing a lot more. And I'm determined.
Well, wouldn't it be great to go from the 30 million sheep up to the 70 million sheep that we used to have?
Why not?
Because of such demand that we needed to have that. Well, wouldn't that be great? So how can people get more information on
the
Merino
website.
Software Company, Brent?
Just go to merinosoftware.com.
And and what is it again? Say it again slowly for everyone.
Merino Software Company. Yeah.
Okay, is that all one word apart from .com?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, look, everyone, you've got that there, and I think it's wonderful that you're working in this area, Brent. It's so great to see this happening because it is one of my favourite products, and it is one where I think the opportunities are endless as people seek and enjoy natural products. It's so much more than the artificial ones, and it's a wonderful product that lasts in many cases for actually decades if it's looked after. So isn't that wonderful?
Major
right. Well, thank you, Brent, and I'm very excited. Yeah, and I'm really excited about it in the aviation or aerospace industry and health, because I can imagine that there are quite a few opportunities there, and that's again is something that is very much a global issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thanks very much for your time.
Okay.
All right. Good night. We want to hear more from you once you've one of those big projects you want to talk about.
You'll be seeing us. We'll be world famous.
Okay.